Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Maverick here, and we're ready for the finale of Your Lie in April. So, this is a continuation viewing. I just got done with episode 21, so let's just not talk too much and get right into the episode. Okay, so the beginning was actually the opening song, and well, I don't see any difference, so let's just skip that for now and continue in 3, 2, 1, play. Harukaze. Spring wind. Oh, that's... Oh dang, I actually forgot what the date. I remember it was the 18th, but it was in March or April. I mean, it's something like, a full year since they met, right? Yeah, let me concentrate on the music here. Hmm. 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 Aw. What? What? Oh, okay. From last episode. What? Okay, this is actually kind of eerie, in a sense. I'm sorry if I'm not talking very much right now, but I kind of want to listen to the music. I don't know, it's supposed to be beautiful and all, and I mean the artwork is beautiful, but there's something. Okay, okay. Mm. Wait, just like that? Oh, a callback to the first episode. Kase-sama. There you go. Ah, so you're literally beside her? Okay. Aw. There you go. All pre-planned. Hmm. Okay. So basically, she also had a big personality change right before she met. Really? That's what you're shocked at? Uh, well, it's good that Tsubaki actually said something before the mail. Look at his expressions changing. Okay, I need this real quick. Oh. You're also gonna have some more competition, Tsubaki. Oh wow. Oh man. You know, I really wasn't expecting this kind of ending, but I think I actually do prefer this to, all the other scenarios that I fought before. And of course, it's our Kaori. Well, now, we made it to the end in one piece, and sorry to disappoint you guys, for those of you who are sadistic enough to want to watch the suffering of others, but I did not break down into tears. Although, to be fair, I was this close, right? I actually went back and watched my own reaction, and you can actually see the point where I tears almost started flowing out of my eyes, and that was during the letter scene, especially the part where there is the background music and Kaori was saying sorry, and then also I love you at the end there. You could see me biting my lip there, trying to hold it in. That was close. That was close, I admit, but I prevailed in the end. Not that it's actually a battle or anything. That scene was actually really beautiful, although I actually went back and watched it a few more times just because of how beautiful it was. Does that make me a masochist to make myself suffer for that again? But no. Anyways, it kind of reminded me of a movie from quite a while ago. P.S. I Love You. I don't know how many of you guys have seen that before. And so I feel like because once I saw the letter from Kaori, right, I was pretty much already thinking that something like that was going to happen, and that probably also, helped me, steel myself against that scene, right? And some other things that I'm sure that some of you guys are probably thinking, Maverick, you're so cold-hearted and whatnot. But I don't know. I felt like crying there wasn't actually the proper response, as weird as that may sound. And the reason for this is, all the other characters, right, including Kosei, who's actually reading it, they seem to have already moved on and are in a calm state of mind, right? Of course, we do see Kosei actually shed a tear, I believe, during that scene, but we never see him actually cry or bawl out or anything, right? And so, I don't know, for me, it kind of felt that, I was definitely sorrowful, but at the same time, it just didn't fit the mood. I don't know how many of you guys can relate with this, or most of you guys maybe probably were already crying already, but I just feel like especially the positivity that Kaori has been exhibiting through the last 2 episodes, and indeed throughout the whole series and whatnot, and even her tone within the letter, it just, I don't know, it just seemed to me like it felt kind of wrong to actually cry there. And, it's really, in a sense, Kaori going off with a smile, and we can believe in our hearts that maybe she's at a better place now, right? If you believe in a higher faith or something of that sort, or it's just a figurative way of speech. But still, especially since we know that there's nothing left unsaid. I don't know. And to me, it just felt like they went the route where they didn't actually want us to be bawling our eyes out at that point, right? It was more of a, I don't know, it's more of a soft, very mellow feeling to me, and that's how I reacted there. So, but let me know your guys' thoughts as well in regards to that part. In terms of the episode itself, I just want to quickly mention before we get to the end, during the duet part, you could definitely, I definitely felt something was wrong there. You can see the unnaturalness, specifically within Kaori's eyes there, so at that point I had already pretty much had an idea of what was going to happen, right? The kind of foreshadowing there. I don't know, maybe... that scene actually went a lot different than I was thinking. I was thinking more that it might be again, a representation of Koari coming out, but maybe it should be whispering ears of encouragement or something, or maybe Kosei would be having some flashbacks again to all the different things that Koari said, maybe a flashback to a certain scene where they were talking to each other that wasn't shown actually before in the anime, something like that. But they chose to do the duet as well. I guess also in a sort of way to fulfill the promise that they made to each other. But I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Actually allowing them to fulfill that promise there, under that kind of circumstance, I don't know. I'm sure lots of people are going to say that scene was beautiful, which it was, but I don't know. It just, to me, feels wrong somehow. That was the way that their duet played out. Of course, there was no other way for it to play out, but still, I don't know. It just felt kind of weird for me. The entire thing felt kind of weird for me. But I also wonder if that's maybe what they were trying to achieve in the first place, right? Because that is, through some sort of supernatural power, how Kosei knows that Koari is no longer in this world. Right. So, that was this episode. So let's talk about the series as a whole, right? So first of all, I just want to quickly mention the art, the animation, the music. Honestly, I don't feel like I need to mention anything about that. It's absolutely stellar. I love the artwork. I love the animation work. I love the style that they went for. It's beautiful, right? And the music as well. I'm not talking about the classical pieces or the the opening and endings or whatnot, but just the background music and all. It definitely helped create the atmosphere and set the mood here. The composer for the music for this anime is actually Yokoyama Masaru, who's actually a composer that I really like as well. I listened to some of his other works as well, and I felt like he did a fine job here as well. My only complaint would be that maybe there were, I feel like there were two main sets of music that kind of got repetitive in a sense. But at the same time, though, it did, achieve its goal of inciting the correct responses and emotions every single time. So I guess I can't really complain about that, right? And as for the classical works, honestly, it was a smaller selection than I was expecting, considering that this is a musical anime concerning classical works. But it's good. It's good. They're definitely interpreted pretty well. Although some, I've mentioned this in most of my reviews already. Some I liked, some I was more meh about. I think my favorite might be one of Emi's pieces, or perhaps the duet. Sorry, I shouldn't call it a duet. A four hands by Kosei and Nagi. Right. I think those were the ones that left the most impression on me, although I'm not sure if it's also because of the subject matter in regards to story at that point as well. But definitely, art, animation, music, really nothing bad to say there. So let's talk a little bit about the story, right? And honestly, I actually went and looked at some other people's reviews and whatnot in regards to the story, and everybody has their own opinion, but to me personally, I actually feel like it's the strongest thing about this anime. Especially not actually the entire drama and tragedy part at the very end in regards to Koari's situation, but really, I like it more as sort of like a slice of life / coming of age / light romance elements of it. I believe it was 2 episodes ago or something like that where I mentioned how, I feel like it's really bringing me back, giving me a nostalgic feeling of my time during mid school and high school, the pureness of the love that's being exhibited there. It's some really dumb things, honestly, but that's what young love is, right? And I really absolutely like the way that they portrayed them during those scenes, and not just the romance part as well, but also a lot of other scenes I could, to a certain extent, they gave me the same impact as as this last scene with the letter, right? As funny as that sound. Like, some very memorable scenes to me would be, for instance, Takashi, the entire story arc with Takashi and Nagi, and how at the very end, Takashi sort of regains, he regained his step, regained his bounce, regained meaning in his life. If we, put it a little bit more, on a serious note, although it's not quite that serious, but I did entirely like that. In fact, that was one of the scenes that really, really moved me, believe it or not. The very end where his, he was bouncing up the steps again, getting fire in his eyes and whatnot. I really like that part. Or, for instance, Tsubaki, right? Now, even though I absolutely am on the side of Kosei / cross Kawari, right? Tsubaki really, her stories, even though she's fighting a losing battle, right? Whatever the case, it's a losing battle, and even with this kind of ending here, it's hard to say if Tsubaki will actually ever have a chance with Kosei, right? But I really love the way that the anime portrayed her feelings and whatnot. It's not, I've said it before, it's not like revolutionary, it's not like it's never been done before, but it's just entirely fitting and perfect for the scenes that it showed up in. It never overstayed its welcome, and I love it, right? Especially that, her, I think my favorite episode of hers was definitely the one where, we had this big contrast between childhood, between those two, and then the current day contrast between those two, and when Tsubaki actually realized her feelings and was starting to run away crying, right? I love that episode, actually. I've said it before, even when, that was the time when Kawari's situation really took a turn for the worse, still, I was entirely invested in Tsubaki's story at that point, so that should tell you guys how much I enjoyed that part. And of course, we have to mention the pairing, Kosei and Kawari, as well, right? When we're talking about this young love, this light romance part, just going off and searching for fireflies, jumping off the bridge, riding together on a bike during the night on the way home, looking at the night skies and whatnot, just having some light chatter with each other, just enjoying the presence of each other. I loved it. I loved the entire portrayal of that, right? And also the phone call, the late night phone call to each other. That really, it brought me back to a time tens of years ago, when I was not only 10 years ago now, but basically when I was in high school as well, right? So I absolutely love the portrayals there. The pacing of the anime, It has its ups and downs, right? I'm not gonna be honest, but on the flip side, I can honestly say that I enjoyed every second of this anime, right? And I feel like this, I should probably bring this to the ending point. I can, at the end of the day, when I was going to watch this anime, and of course it's a courtesy of voting by you guys, I was actually quite apprehensive as well, because it's always sort of a risk for me, or for people like me who make videos on anime, to watch these, really critically acclaimed series that lots of people like, right? Because, taste is subjective, right? And it's entirely possible that there might be some series that you guys recommend that I don't really like, right? And, I'm sure nobody wants to hear people bashing on an anime they like or think it's overrated or whatnot. So this one, honestly, I was quite worried as well. But really, I feel like this anime deserves every single bit of praise and hype that people have been pouring on it. Even with all that being said, and how I'm not really, I wasn't really, crying my heart out at this ending here. Still, just based on its story alone, like, even if we take that entire, drama part out, right, that entire tragedy part out, I feel like just, watching these characters, using music as a sort of medium to sort of create and go through all these different situations and stories, that in itself is already, it's already a great anime for me, just judging by those factors alone, right? And again, throughout the entire anime, I love how they used lots of different contrasts, flashbacks between the present versus the past, how they might be in sort of similar situations, but for different people, and how the situation relate with each other. I loved how they use this kind of method to put the whole story together, right? The author definitely deserves a lot of props to making the story this way. And at the end of the day, though, it's really a feel-good anime, right? Again, I'm sure that some people will probably heavily disagree with this and say, how can you say it's a feel-good anime with this kind of ending, right? But that's what I honestly feel like, and that's why, even at this very end here, with what is supposedly a very tragic ending, it's more of a melodramatic feel for me. It's a very mellow kind of sadness that I have in regards to Kaori's situation, rather than, something where, that makes me depressed or something, right? Because overall, the tone of the anime, and even with this kind of ending, it's uplifting, it's positive, it's feel good, and it also reflects in all the different dramas and conflicts within the show as well. Can that be a bad thing? Of course it could be as well, right? Especially in this kind of case where with this kind of ending, personally I wasn't that impressed with not the ending, but I wasn't that impressed with the entire story behind Kosei and Kosei's mom. I felt like that one was, I don't know, it didn't completely hit the mark for me, the way that the situation resolved itself. But even so, I can see why they tried to do it this way, why the author tried to do it this way, because they want it to be positive, they want it to be feel good, right? So, that's just a stylistic choice here. So yeah, I feel like that's all I have to say about Your Lie in April. Once again, I absolutely loved this one. This was definitely a great recommendation from you guys, and it's definitely going into one of my favorite animes of all time, right? And yeah. Should I talk a little bit more about the classical music part? Nah, no, never mind. And at the end of the day, I feel like the music didn't play as large a role as I thought it would have. It's mostly used more of a medium to tell the story between all these different people, and that in itself is also great as well, right? So yeah, that's all I have to say in regards to the music part. And like I said, this was a series recommended to me by you guys, right? And actually, this brings me to my next thing, and that is, well, I'm actually opening up a suggestion, voting again, so you guys can vote on one of the next series that I watch for next season. I've already chosen my list of anime that I want to watch from next season, some non-season anime that I want to watch, but one anime is going to be decided by you guys, so I'm just going to put the link down below, the voting, and go there and vote, basically. So yeah, that was that. That's my thank you guys for watching this series on Your Lie in April. For any of you guys who are new here, hopefully if you just happen to stumble upon this by chance, you like my style of video or videos and want to watch more, in which case, there's lots of other stuff on my channel. Feel free to go check it out. If you were someone who came into here looking for, more hype reactions, more emotional reactions, sorry, I'm really not kind of reactor, but yeah, you might probably be better off going somewhere else, right? And so, no hard feelings. But if you do want to watch my other work, feel free to do so as well, and I would be glad if you could stay and converse with me with comments and whatnot. So there we go. That's Your Lie in April. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. So see you guys then. Bye bye.